and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
Well, a very special good evening. My name is Curtis Matthew. This is the DBS Evening News. A former senior police officer to take up a new position as police instructor. News from the region. Jamaica's opposition takes to the street after its motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister was blocked in the Parliament. And news from the international scene. US President Joe Biden says Israel should not strike Iranian nuclear sites. Details of the evening news right after this.
What's on your back-to-school checklist? Fast, reliable internet, a free Chromebook, a smartphone. With Flow, you can check everything off your list. Sign up for broadband and get 25% off Turbo plus 6 months or free Chromebook while stocks last. And if you need a new phone, our postpaid bundles offer smartphones for just $4. Make back-to-school easy with Flow. Visit discoverflow.co for details.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
One easy loan.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
To upgrade my phone and even my home with one simple loan.
More money.
To have your wedding, to go traveling, to do anything.
More money.
No security. Speedy delivery, just check NBT. Apply anytime. In branch or line, it's more money time.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
No collateral.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Speedy delivery.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Just check NBT.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
DBS News.
Welcome back to the DBS Evening News. The police will have the services of a former senior officer to assist officers in several areas, such as report writing and collection of evidence. Duke Sevre will take up the position of instructor of police. Meantime, training for 60 police recruits is to get underway this month.
In the coming weeks, in the month of October, we will see the commencement of recruit training of 60 additional police officers, men and women. What I'd like to see as the minister is to have a specific beat unit. Go back to the days when 2 o'clock in the morning, you could have seen police officers in uniform on the road. Because while you're asleep, the criminals are awake. And we'll continue to ensure that all the training that you need to make a better police force is done. We have locally people with the requisite talent to assist the police. And next month, we'll be engaging the former superintendent of the police, Mr. Duke Savre, and we will serve as an instructor to deal with a number of police subjects. Report writing, statement writing, the protecting of crime scene, the collection of evidence, the need to protect the custody, the chain of custody of exhibits. All these things are critical to the outcome of a matter.
And that's the minister responsible for national security, Rayburn Blackmore. Meantime, chairman of the Police Welfare Association, David Andrew Jr., says the police will embark on initiatives to bring the communities and police closer together.
Because we truly believe our communities are our partners. And in order that we continue to ensure the peace and prosperity of our nation, we must engage and collaborate with our communities. We must build a strong relationship with our communities, bearing mutual trust, where members of the public don't feel threatened by the presence of the police, but feel a sense of peace, safety, and security. That's why, in the coming months, there will be even a greater drive and direction by the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force geared towards community policing initiatives.
And that's the chairman of the Police Welfare Association, David Andrew Jr. Meanwhile, the police are meeting in Granby this evening, just around 6:30, for a block meeting as part of activities for Police Week. Director of Engineering Services at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, Nicole Laville, says Clinical Technologies Week highlights the important contribution made by its Engineering Services Department. She says the team which maintains equipment at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital must not go unnoticed. Activities for Clinical Technologies Week are underway at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital.
Because oftentimes you think of healthcare, and yes, we appreciate our nurses and our doctors. They're very much at the front line, and they're the front faces that we see when it comes to healthcare. But we have allied services as well, such as clinical engineering, that support the frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors, by maintaining the medical equipment that they use to diagnose, to treat patients. So for this week, we wanted to highlight the hardworking team who maintains the medical equipment, who tests them, make sure they are safe for the doctors and the nurses to use. And we also know that the work of the clinical team directly affects patient outcomes as well, because if we don't have equipment to use, then patient care is compromised. So we wanted to highlight the hardworking clinical technicians and clinical engineers who maintain the medical equipment. So this is the purpose of this week. I also wanted the public to, and even the staff here, to appreciate also the cost of these devices. We may see them almost as commonplace, and maybe we take them for granted. So for example, a vital sign monitor. Almost every patient that comes to the hospital will interface with a vital sign monitor. And these are the devices that the nurses use to take your pressure, take your temperature, your pulse.
And that's Director of Engineering Services at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, Nicole Laville. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says his government is optimistic that Dominicans will soon enjoy visa-free access to the UK. The UK government imposed visa restrictions on Dominicans entering the country last year over concerns relating to the Citizenship by Investment program. Mr. Skerrit said this week relations between Dominica and the UK have remained very strong.
We continue to engage in the United Kingdom. As a matter of fact, I'm having a meeting in Samoa, a side meeting with the Foreign Secretary, the UK Foreign Secretary, who was reached out to me, and there's a matter that we'll raise with them there. And I believe that eventually we're confident that that the visa waiver agreements that we had with the United Kingdom will be reinstated. We're very confident in that. We always maintain that we felt that the decision was a bit premature, taking into consideration the discussion we were having at the time. But they took a decision that they felt was in their interest to do, and we don't chastise them for that. But we continue to discuss with them. We maintain excellent relations with the United Kingdom. You saw we signed the contract for the road. We broke ground for the road from Loubaire to Bacatel a couple of weeks ago. And a number of other areas that we're collaborating with the United Kingdom. So we have excellent relations with them, and so we'll continue to dialogue with them with a view to allaying any concerns which they may have and to have their visas reinstated with the United Kingdom. But that notwithstanding, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, you have seen, signed visa-free to several countries in the last few months. So our visa-free access to countries continue to increase. Bilateral visa-free arrangements continue to increase with many countries across the world. But the UK visa-free is important to us, and we'll continue to pursue it with great vigor and determination.
And that's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Officer in charge of the Dominica State College, Trudy Christian, says the learning environment at that institution has been greatly improved following renovation works over the summer. The government of Dominica funded the restoration works at the Dominica State College, which enables students to return to classes in a much improved environment.
The Dominica State College comprises of two major campuses, the upper campus and lower campus, and we have been primarily housed in the upper campus because of the devastation of Hurricane Maria and the necessary expansion which was needed down into the lower campus was facilitated by the renovations which occurred over the summer. We had the renovation of blocks A and B of the lower campus, which are classroom blocks, as well as the N buildings, which are across the street from the upper campus, which houses our technical courses primarily. So N buildings, classroom blocks A and classroom blocks B were the targets for the restoration over the summer. The learning environment is greatly improved through the renovations that were done. Ideally, learning should be occurring in a comfortable space. Essentially, you want learning to happen in a nice, comfortable space, a space that looks good and feels good. And after Hurricane Maria, we really had not been able to provide that a lot of the times. But with the new and improved classrooms, we also received a good donation of furniture as well. So we definitely saw a nice improvement.
And that's the officer in charge of the Dominica State College, Trudy Christian. On the feature segment of our news tonight, we focus on a vendor in the tourism industry. Lillian Xavier of Rosa, who lives in Wharton Waven, began vending at 22 years old and has been a vendor for 35 years. She says vending has been good so far. Vendor Lillian Xavier is our feature on the evening news.
Well, I was unemployed and I had my children, so I had to do something for survival. I started vending. Well, my sister we used to be selling plastic shoes, Rosso. My bigger sister, we used to be selling plastic shoes, Rosso, working for Deborah and Sonny. So what we used to do, when I'm on vacation, I used to work. When I'm in school, she used to work. So then I'm always doing that. I always doing something. And then my mother used to make garden and thing. I used to be in the market selling agricultural produce and things like that. So I'm always on my toes.
How has vending been for you over these years?
Well, it has been very good to me. All what I have is because of that. And then I stopped for a little while after Maria because no cruise ship, nothing. So I stopped. But then we came back. I came back during COVID. I started back.
We have a lot of vendors in and around Roseau. How do you think they're doing the vending?
If they have a proper mindset, they should be doing well. Because it's a mindset you have to make up your mind to do, and you have to love your job. If you don't love something, you won't do it proper.
So you said over all these 35 years, vending has really been the main thing for you over all these years?
All these years, that's all I love, vending.
You are now located just outside the National Bank of Dominica, here at the Bayfront. Do you like where you are situated right now?
Well, where I'm situated there right now is like an off-season. So when the season starts, I'll be back on the Bayfront.
And how is vending out of season, out of the cruise ship season?
Well, since we have the front, we survive.
You said earlier that everything you have, you've earned it from vending.
My children, my house, I take care of them because of vending. Take care of myself, pay my bills, do my groceries and shopping, vending.
In terms of the items that you sell, how do you access these items? How do you get these items to make a living out of it?
Well, some of them are local, some we order.
So you buy from other people and so on?
Yes. And I make my jewelries, I cut my beaded t-shirts. There are certain things I do myself. And you have to love something to be in it. Well, what I would like to say to the vendors on the Bayfront, the old market, if we keep to our prices, we will make money. But if we don't control our prices, then it's nothing. Well, because some people have different prices. We all buy the product the same price, but some sell cheaper. I wonder if they make more money. But then it's not good for the business.
And that's vendor Lillian Xavier. The news continues right after this.
What's on your back-to-school checklist? Fast, reliable internet, a free Chromebook, a smartphone. With Flow, you can check everything off your list. Sign up for broadband and get 25% off Turbo plus 6 months or free Chromebook while stocks last. And if you need a new phone, our postpaid bundles offer smartphones for just $4. Make back to school easy with Flow. Visit discoverflow.co for details.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
One easy loan.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
To upgrade my phone and even my home with one simple loan.
More money.
To have your wedding, to go traveling, to do anything.
More money.
No security. Speedy delivery, just check NBT. Apply anytime. In branch online, it's more money time.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
No collateral.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Speedy delivery.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Just check NBT.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
DBS News.
Jamaica's opposition took their matter to the streets yesterday after a motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister was blocked in Parliament. Mark Golding was tabling the motion when the Deputy Speaker said his action would contravene the standing orders. The motion of no confidence came after the Integrity Commission pushed for a probe against the Prime Minister. Mark Golding read the motion, which was to be filed in Parliament, on the streets.
Be it resolved that this Honourable House condemns the Prime Minister for not maintaining ethical standards of transparency and openness in government. Secondly, censures the Prime Minister for his acts of covering up and concealment of the names, including his own, of those members of the Cabinet and or Parliament of which he was and may still be aware, but has kept them in positions of influence in the Cabinet with the effect of further undermining public trust in the institutions of government. And declares that the actions of the Prime Minister have severely undermined his credibility and trustworthiness, and that he no longer enjoys the confidence of this House.
The opposition claims the plan was to table the motion today and debate it at the next sitting. But the motion is not before the House.
For them to block the opposition from bringing a motion on the alleged basis that the matter is sub judice is really, in my view, a bad and sad day for our democracy. Again, it's an example of freedom of speech, freedom of association, our democratic principles being undermined by the misuse of power by the majority in Parliament.
Andrea.
And that's Mark Golding, the opposition leader, reading that what was supposed to be a motion in the Parliament, he read it on the streets in Jamaica on Tuesday. Finally, this evening, U.S. President Joe Biden said he would not support strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities by Israel, even as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has promised to retaliate against Tehran for the ballistic attacks that were largely repelled today. He also reiterated what he described as full solidarity and support to Israel and its people on the part of the United States. The president's comments come just after he and other group of 7 leaders concluded a phone call during which they discussed coordinating new sanctions against Iran in the wake of the failed ballistic missile attack, during which U.S. and Israeli forces intercepted nearly 200 warheads. It is 19 minutes after 6 o'clock. That's news. Gavin Richards is standing by. He'll bring you the best of the sports report right after this.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's begin with news that the Dominican Olympic Committee has been recognized for its outstanding participation at the 2024 Summer Paris Olympic Games. The recognition came from the Pan Am Sports General Assembly in Paraguay this morning. President of the Dominican Olympic Committee, Billy Doctorow, received the award from President of the International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, and the Pan Am Sports President. Well, recognition was also given to Alfredo Emanuel, who is the President of the St. Lucia Olympic Committee, for their achievements as well. Both countries received historic gold medals, with Thea Laforgadson winning the women's triple jump and Julian Alfred winning the women's 100-meter event. She also took silver in the 200-meter women's event. Let's bring you some more sports this evening. Dominica's Cavem Hodge has been rewarded for his good start to his Test cricket career, as he's among 15 players awarded retainer contracts by Cricket West Indies for the 2024-2025 season. Well, Hodge, who made his debut against Australia earlier this year, already has 2 half-centuries and a century to his name. He got a century against England. Well, Dominica's Alec Athanase also found favour and has been offered another retainer contract. Athanase and Hodge have been offered single-year contracts along with Craig Brathwaite, Casey Carty, Roston Chase, Joshua Da Silva, Akil Hussain, Romario Shepherd and Rovman Powell, while Cricket West Indies has handed out new multi-year contracts to Shea Hope, Azari Joseph, Shamar Joseph, Brandon King, Gudakesh Moti and Jaden Seals. The multi-year contracts are based on a new 4-year Memorandum of Understanding signed in January of this year between Cricket West Indies and the West Indies Players Association. Cricket West Indies also handed out 15 retainer contracts to its women's players, and the West Indies women's captain Hayley Matthews, former captain Stephanie Taylor and Shumin Campbell, who's the vice captain, are among the 15 female cricketers receiving the contracts. Some more cricket news this evening. Well, Guyana Amazon Warriors captain Imran Tahir believes his squad has what it takes to repeat as champions of the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League. Well, the Warriors will go in search of a spot in the finals tonight when they take on the St. Lucia Kings in the first qualifier. That game bowls off at 7 o'clock in Guyana.
Never happened before till 2023, so yeah, I guess I'm the lucky one, but I think it's just that our team, we gel really together last year, and we knew we had to do a lot hard work to win the competition like this, where teams are really strong and you play against a very good opponent. So obviously that we achieved that and we're really proud of that. But I think coming back and defend the title, it's a bigger challenge. And yeah, look, we're really up for challenge again. We've been playing really good cricket and very confident. Then when we obviously go through the crucial matches, and we'll come over the line again and make proud Ghana and every Guyanese, whoever supporting us from all over the world.
And that's the Guyana Amazon Warriors captain Imran Tahir. Meantime, St. Lucia Kings captain Faf du Plessis is hoping that this year will be the year the Kings win the title. He says the team is looking to ride the positive energy from the Olympic champion Julian Alfred and the hype that she has brought to St. Lucia.
Yeah, look, even sitting on the outside of the CPL was when I was watching the Olympics and saw someone from St. Lucia winning gold medal. There was definitely a smile because you feel associated with the island and even the Caribbean. So that was good to see. And yeah, we felt that when we were in St. Lucia as well. There's a real optimism around obviously her performances and proud of everything she's achieved. But also the cricket that we have been playing. I think this has been, as far as the St. Lucia Kings seasons has gone, it's been the most wins we've had in a round of 10 games. So we are proud of that and our performances this season, but we understand that it doesn't mean much if you can't go all the way. So as the other 3 guys sitting here, very motivated to make sure that we go all the way.
St. Lucia Kings captain Faf du Plessis. The loser of tonight's match will face the Barbados Royals in the second qualifier on Friday. Meantime, the captain of the Barbados Royals team, Rovman Powell, says while Lady Luck was on their side last night, his team is looking to build on the momentum as they look to advance to the finals. Well, the Barbados Royals advanced to the second qualifier, beating the Trinbago Knight Riders by 9 wickets via the Duckworth-Lewis method. There was, however, a 2-hour delay due to a power failure which interrupted the Knight Riders' innings while batting.
I think it's a case of us getting lucky tonight, to be honest. At one point we thought we were out of the competition when the light started giving problems. But we knew once the light came back at a certain time, it's our game to lose. 5 over 60 runs, not very difficult.
Tell me about the preparation going into, obviously, the fact that you're going to play that 5-over game. How did you come up with the opening partnership you guys went out, and what did you tell your team?
I think it's just a case of our main experienced batter, myself and Quinny, try to take on those 2 overs of power play, see if we can get a good start. If, in the first 2 overs you get 25, 30 runs, you're halfway there already, and credit have to be given to David. He came in and he struck it from ball 1.
And your stance and your position during that discussion with the other captain and the umpires when the lights went off?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's unfortunate that the lights went on. It went off. It would be a beautiful game of cricket. But having said that, those things happen. It's just unfortunate for a good TKR's team to be on the wrong side of luck tonight. But nevertheless, I'll take it with my team.
That's the Barbados Royals captain Rovman Powell, while Trinbago Knight Riders captain Kieron Pollard says the electrical incident was unfortunate, but that's the nature of the game.
You prepare for any circumstances. Obviously, if rain had fell or something like that, it would have been the same sort of instances where you have to, gear up and be prepared to play. At the end of it, once the lights was on, and as we spoke, I was always ready and willing, to play within the rules and regulations of the game. So again, it tend to happen, and it happens. Obviously, they had a target of 60 to chase, and well batted by Miller there in the end.
You've used the word proud throughout this season. How would you reflect on the way your guys have gone through this year's CPL?
Still proud of the guys, as I said, from the inception, we had a lot of injuries coming into this tournament, and the way that the guys came out and played, consistently at this point in time, to get where we got, on the table, 14 points in 10 out of 10 games. Obviously, you'll take that each and every time. Normally, you finish on the top 2 with that, in CPLs gone by. So again, you just have to be proud, of the guys and the way that perform all the way through the end, the professionalism, that was shown. And again, as we saw the class of Nicky P today, again, batting through on a tough wicket, getting us to a decent total at that point in time with 4 or 5 deliveries to go. Obviously, it was always going to be difficult for Barbados to chase that, but on circumstances, certain things happen that we have no control over, and that's something that we continue to speak about. You can control what you can't control, and what you can't control, you just sort of run with it.
And that's the Trinbago Knight Riders captain Kieron Pollard. Well, his teammate Andre Russell didn't quite share his views. We'll let you know what Andre Russell had to say during the off-the-field program tonight, as Delvin Esprit will join us as we look at some of the major sporting activities going on regionally, locally and internationally as well. Off the field coming up at 7 o'clock. Well, in some more sports this evening, the Dominica Football Association is on a drive this weekend to sensitize clubs about the club licensing process ahead of the start of the 2025 football season. Well, DFA PRO Ebby Lawrence says the sessions are important as clubs must be licensed to participate in the various leagues of the DFA.
As we prepare for the 2025 football season, the Dominica Football Association announces its club licensing session to be held on the following days. On Saturday the 5th of October, 10 a.m. for the clubs in the Roseau catchment area. That would include South City way down to Maro at the Dominica Football Association conference room on Saturday the 5th day of October 2024 at 10 a.m. The following areas will be due Tuesday the 8th at the Dubla Pavilion at 6 p.m. This is for the clubs in the Western Belt. The Northern Belt on the 9th, that's Wednesday the 9th, at the Marigot Primary School, Will Strathmore Primary School at 6 p.m. And at 10, on Thursday the 10th of October, 6 p.m. at the Jones Beaupier Primary School in La Plaine. We are asking all clubs to send at least 3 representatives as we discuss the club licensings for the season 2025 and beyond. We are looking forward to having a favorable discussion with you all as we endeavor to better our product, better the club, and advance football. This is Ebby Lawrence, PRO DFA.
In some more football news, Sugar George Wayne George Academy are through to the quarterfinals of the DFA's Division 1 League as they came from 2 goals down to get past Glanvilla in the continuation of their round of 16 matchup at the DFA Technical Centre last night in Stock Farm. Well, Glanvilla were leading 2-0 after 30 minutes when the game was stopped prematurely in September due to a horrific injury to Wayne George Academy player Christophe Rachio-Gervais. The game was continued last night, and it was the Wayne George Academy with the momentum as they came back to win in extra time. Calvin Christopher and Wayne George scored during the regular time, and Hizani Dow got the winner in the first half of extra time as Wayne George Academy won the match 3-2. Meantime, in the women's division, the Harlem Sports Club and Kalinago Warriors had to share their points in their encounter in the Women's Premier League at the Newtown Savannah last night. Kimra Joseph got a brace for Harlem, but Nikela Daru got a late goal for the Kalinago Warriors as that match ended in a 2-2 draw. China Tulok also scored for the Kalinago Warriors. We can go back quickly to some cricket news as India's Jasprit Bumrah has reclaimed his position as the number 1 bowler in Test cricket following his exploits in the recent Test match against Bangladesh, where Bumrah has overtaken his teammate Ravichandra Ashwin, and he has a 1-point lead in the latest Test rankings, which were released this morning. Ashwin remains second on the list. Australia's Josh Hazlewood is in third, and his teammate Pat Cummins at number 4. South Africa's Rabada is at number 5. The top West Indian bowler in Test cricket is Jayden Seales at number 14. Meantime, England's Joe Root continues to be the number 1 batsman in the world, and he's followed by India's Yashavi Jaiswal at number 2. Jaiswal has quickly risen the ranks after only making his Test debut against the West Indies last year at Windsor Park. And the top West Indian batsman, by the way, is the West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite. He's at number 44. He's the only West Indian batter in the top 50. Meantime, India, they continue to lead the table for the World Test Championships. India on top of the table with 98 points. The West Indies, meantime, are in last position, in 9th place, with just 20 points. The West Indies have won just 1 Test match out of the 9 during the current cycle. Well, that's where we'll come to the end of the DBS Evening Sports Report. A lot more sporting highlights for you tomorrow morning during the major news package. Also, just a program reminder, Off the Field comes up at 7 o'clock this evening as well. So you heard the news with Curtis Matthew. I brought you the sports on behalf of the entire news and sports department. Our links person, DJ Haloboy. I'm Gavin Richards saying good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the second day of October 2024. We begin with the evening edition of the DBS Radio Deaf announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We announce the death of Alson Stephen Paul, age 76, of Lagoon Bay, Kulibistri. He died on Wednesday, the 11th of September at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. He was the father of Alton, Linton, Lynthia, and Patricia Paul. He will also be remembered by his sisters, Simula Charles, Selena Bruno, and Laura Paul in England. His brothers Devin Charles, Patrickson Shillingford, and Michael Paul in England. Aunts Soronade Bruni, Nephilia Vidal, Matilda Larocque, and June and Oxy Paul. Uncle Francis Paul, nephew Jason, nieces Jean, Jessie, Nareen, Shanna, Arkina, Khadijah, Denisha, and Oprah. Brother-in-law Ross Charles, sister-in-law Francesca Paul, cousins Chrissy, Alpha, Sylvester, Melanie, and Francis Reed, Edward, Joyce, Alvin, and David Adrian, Doreen Shillingford, Philip, Alan, Alec Paul, children of Sorand Bruni, Nephilia Vidal, and Francis Paul, goddaughter Samantha Scotland, close friends Geraldine, Verna, Roslyn, Rosemary, Cheryl, Chris, Otin, Nurse Larocque, Alexis, Jackson, Mano, Wadi, Kezia, Baba, Robbie, Celestine, Darren, Cyrus, Lakel, Dennis, Jackson, Geraldine, Garfield, Bruni, and Valentine. Neighbors, that is, Clemina, Dexter, Nikisha, Tavi, and Al. The entire village of Monrachet, Lagoon Bay, Kulibistri, Salisbury, Collyho, Biosh, and Dubla, and many other family and friends, names too numerous to mention. The body of the late Alson Stephen Paul of Lagoon Bay, Kulibistri, can be viewed from 2:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the 8th of October, at the St. Anne's Catholic Chapel in Kulibistri. The funeral mass will take place at 3 p.m. and will be followed by interment at the St. Anne's Catholic Cemetery. We announce the death of Alwyn John Baptist, better known as Kayleigh, and Shush, age 54, of Egliston, who resided at Girodel. He died on Thursday, 19th September, at his home in Girodel. He was the husband of Jody Luke, an attorney. He was the father of Nisha, Delwyn, and Derwin John Baptist. He will also be remembered by his grandchild, Sophia John Baptist. Siblings Judy Casimir, Frank, Eddie, Lennox, Jefferson, Glennis, Kenrick, Brian, Claudia and Karen John Baptist, Kathleen Cornelius, Ivona John Baptist Luge, Sandra Bofong, and Kalisharan James. Parents-in-law John and Pearl Luke. Grandparents-in-law Nicholson and Jane Roll. Daughter-in-law Kitana Gervier. Adopted son Conte Esprit. Aunts Linda James, Rosemary Blah, Decima and Jennifer John Baptist. Uncles Gilbert and Owen Guy. Cousins Ingrid and Lorraine Blah, Annelle, Avril, Esther, Cohen, Lester, Jefferson, Bradley and Frances Guy. Also Kathy Mayers, Annette Fontaine and Josie. Nieces Kimani Kazimi, Natalia, Edina, Arlana, Peyton, Edwina, Naya, Rosanna and Iva John Baptist. Also Tamira and Faith Cornelius. Also Amber, Chelsea and Dijiana Luge, Marla and Michael Beaufort, and also Carly James. Nephews to include Miguel Curton, Noah, Ahmed, Jaden and Armani John Baptist, Trevor Worrell, and Shane Mayers. Brothers-in-law Ivan Cornelius, Octavius Luge, Cadian Luke and Herbert Bernard. Sisters-in-law Nurkri Gillis, Pearl and Kerry John Baptist. Amy and Diamond Luke, Nidhi Joseph, Kimisha Tyson, Sasha Daniel and Kimora Bruni. Cousins-in-law including Cassie and Casey Jolly. Aunts-in-law including Shirley Guy, Lauren Guy, Glenda Martin, Gloria, Uvina and Ilma Luke and Jacqueline Martin. Uncles-in-law including Greg Blanc and Ian Roll. Godchildren including Eric Austri, Tiara Arundel, Kayel Thomas, Latoya, Azariah Cyprian, Brianna Henderson, Sienna and Liera Joseph and Angel Valmond. Employees including Aaron Hippolyte, Kimridge Antoine and Trevenson and Edwin. The management and staff of the Wasco including Bernard Etinoff, Mr. Ferrara, Mr. Winston and Mr. Roberts. The management and staff of Platinum Law Chambers including Mr. Lennox Lawrence and family, Marissa Farrell, Leoma Prince, Kelicia Benjamin and Jaya Doctrove. The doctors and nurses at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital's Oncology Department and Alford Ward, inclusive of Dr. Gamez, Dr. Challender, Dr. Moses, Nurse Richards, Nurse Lequent, Sister Edmond, Dr. Ferrara and Matron Emmeline Matthew, other members of the medical fraternity in Dominica, including Dr. Roberto Lara Guevara, Dr. O'Reilly, Dr. Shane McIntyre, Dr. Sanchez, Dr. King, Nurse Scotland and Nurse Tracy Durand. Doctors, nurses and staff of the National Institute of Cancer in Cuba, including Dr. Brulio Mestre, Nurse Ismael, Nurse Isabelita and Nurse Naomi. Management and staff of Triage Health, including Jessica and Emmanuel Esprit and Paloma Mark. Close friends including Monsignor Eustace Thomas, Father Elton Leta, Andrina and Thea Del Sol, that is, and family, Paula, Lena, Ferdinand, Clinton and Julian Antoine and families, Alwyn Thomas and family, Jeanette Ellis, Ma Jo, Ma Eugene, Yolan Leta, Randy Alexander, Sandra and Steve Arundel and family, Damian Desiree, Loftus Harv, Percy James and family, Melvin, Colbert Graham and family, Ken Boston, Davidson Bedminster, Imos Regist, Felix Michel and family, Dana Marie Selena and family, Anika Bellot and family, Carlita Benjamin, Sophia LaRocque, Carol Christopher, Kawo Silma, Mr. and Mrs. Finn, Anika Cyprian, Natasha, Rod and Adele Scotland, Sherwin Joseph, Terby, members of the Happy People family including Steve and Susan Joseph, Theona, Ronald, Heathkith, Oliver and Oyan Henderson, Gerald and Francine Jean-Jacques, Don Etienne, Agnes, Alt and Tessa Vidal, Owen, Iton, Oliver, Lisa and Kerlisa, the entire community of Girardel including Ruth, Euthely, Christine, Conrad, Ezra, Mergan, Nikita, Geraldine, Shamara, Nelisha, Mary, Merlin, Sherilyn and Mr. Julian Theophil, the entire community of Egliston including William, Brenda, Ando, Maria, Katie, Maudlin and Marilyn. The entire community of Bells including Francis, Merlin, Kishma, Nora, Norma, Andrea, Ken, Nikez and Denny, Parliamentary Representative Mrs. Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte, the Prime Minister and the Government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, members of the Dominica Bar Association and the Legal Fraternity in Dominica, and many other family, friends and clients around Dominica, including the village of Fortney, Newtown, Ansdime, and the wider Caribbean, names too numerous to mention. He was predeceased in death by his parents, Eugenia Deo Guy and Reynold John Baptist. The body of the late Alwyn John Baptist, better known as Kele and Shush of Egliston, who resided at Girardel, can be viewed from 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, the 5th of October, at Our Lady of Fatima Church in Newtown. The funeral mass will take place at 3 p.m. and will be followed by interment at the Roseau Catholic Cemetery. We announce the death of Flora John Baptiste, better known as Flo, age 57, of Corley-Ho. She died on Tuesday, the 10th of September, at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. She was